Hey everyone, Mox here. Wanted to make a quick video to talk about some of the changes coming to Blood DK in 10.1. As you may know, I have mained Blood DK for all of Season 1 of Dragonflight and played them through Shadowlands as well, and I'd just like to touch on some of the changes and give a bit of my feedback. So what we're coming from, to set a baseline, is our tier set is currently in 10.0 very non-impactful to our rotation. It gives us some extra rune generation, gives us some extra damage, some extra haste. It's a very low impact. And we'll see, moving into the new 10.1 tier, that they have continued with the low impact, but added some weird RNG to it. So what our new tier set does is it increases the damage of Heartstrike and Blood Boil by 20%, and gives both of them a 10% chance to grant you Vamp Blood for 5 seconds. That's our 2 set. So Vamp Blood is the thing that increases our maximum health and increases all healing and absorbs that we have, and it normally lasts 10 seconds. This tier set will give it to us for half that duration, so 5 seconds. It then interacts with the 4 set. When you would gain Vamp Blood, you're infused with Vampiric Strength, granting you 10% strength for the 5 seconds. Heartstrike and Blood Boil extend the duration of Vampiric Strength by 0.5 of a second. So notice here, it doesn't say they extend Vamp Blood, they just extend the strength component of it. This is kind of strange. So we're not going to be in the big defensive period for long periods of time. We're just going to have the extra strength. So you're still going to have crazy uptime on Vamp Blood, but it didn't work how I initially thought. I initially thought this was going to be like a extending Vamp Blood constantly sort of tier set where we would try and get 100% uptime on Vamp Blood. Instead, we're looking to have quite high uptime on Vampiric Strength. If we have 5 seconds where we can extend it by half a second each second, plus whatever the extension is, the idea would be you're going to probably get 7 or 8 seconds of Vamp Strength, and ideally you're going to have Vamp Blood up for 5 seconds every 10 seconds. The idea would be that you have pretty close to 50% uptime on Vampiric Blood. It's interesting. The main problem that I see with it is that it doesn't interact at all with umbillicus. So this Vamp Blood ability here, when you gain Vamp Blood, it doesn't actually proc umbillicus Eternus. So when you gain a proc, it just acts as if it's a proc, whereas when you actually push Vampiric Blood, at the end of it, you get this massive absorb shield. It would be nice to see these two interact with each other so that umbillicus becomes a much more frequently selectable talent. I think we're still, for most content, going to end up taking Bloodshot to maximize our damage, although I have often played with my talents looking like this recently for maximum survivability. I like umbillicus, I think it's a good ability, and the HPS that you can generate in a key with it's insane. So I would love to see it interact with the tier set, but they may have thought initially that that was going to be too strong. I think as it currently stands, this tier set is fine. It's just not perfect. It's not something that I'm super excited about. Sure, just having more uptime on Vamp Blood, it's basically just going to make my health pool larger. I currently sit at 671 with my uptime on Vamp Blood, taking me to 870. I'm just going to have this big health pool much more of the time. I would also like to see Vampiric Strength last longer when I actually push my 1 minute cooldown. I don't know how they could change that, but it would be nice if when I procced my 10 second duration Vamp Blood, if Vamp Strength lasted for those 10 seconds, instead of only lasting for 5 seconds like it does with the proc. Overall, I think it's a fine change. It's just interesting that they've decided to not make it interact with our talents basically at all. When you look at the warrior tier or the monk tier for Brewmaster and for Protection Warrior, they interact with their talents much more deeply than ours do. The only real thing that we're going to get is probably trying to reduce the cooldown on Vamp Blood, going to the two talents of Red Thirst and playing more like this, because having the extra uptime on Vamp Blood is just going to make extra uptime on the Strength proc. Overall, I'm looking forward to 10.1 and some of the changes that it's going to bring, but I think that we need another minor tuning pass on the tier set just before it goes live. Anyway, short video this today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.